All right, call the meeting to order, 7:31. I don't see public participation. Did you guys get a chance to review the March minutes?
Motion to accept the March minutes? Do we have enough people?
Anybody want a second?
Second.
All right.
All right. Approve March minutes, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. All right, so I sent around that presentation that Julie put together for town council meeting on Monday, which is basically to go over the Climate Leaders Program and as part of that grant that we want to apply for, we need to get them to commit to completing the Climate Leaders requirements within a year of the program. So,
I just
Thank you.
shared it.
yeah.
Maybe I can practice giving it to you guys.
So I guess, do you guys have any feedback? Initially?
I have some feedback, but
Should we go over?
Yeah,
do
let's
you
go
want
through
to
it.
do that, or how would you like to proceed?
So, I mean, let me just kind of talk to you what I kind of my thinking on it. And then, yeah, let's, I should still have time to change it. So basically I just, and it's a jam-packed meeting on Monday night. I mean, we're starting an hour early. It's going to be, there's not going to be a kind of a whole lot of, room for discussion. And this is our one chance to get this approval done to make the first round of grants. So I know it's a lot of words, but I'm hoping not to have to say every word. But basically I'm just going to say, you know, this is the kind of the next version of Green Communities. I really want to, oh, Anita, I'm missing a, that should be a quotation mark. The approach they're taking is this 0 over time approach. So it's not going and changing everything up right away. It's as things come to their end of life that the replacement really takes into account climate and emissions. This is what we talked about, Sharon, at the schools. And that it leads to lots of grant funding, including a lot of the things that we've been talking about, like on-site solar and seed funding for clean energy or climate coordinators or sustainability staff. And lots of like random things. And then I just wanted to give them more, you know, a link to where things are, and the town council will have this package by like Friday, and people tend to go through it. So that's why there's so many links in here. And then really that the urgency is that there's an April 12th deadline for the planning assistance grant. And then the second page just goes into what would be to qualify, not for the grant. I know that gets a little confusing. This would be to become a climate leader designation, and then to access their grant program would be these things. And we already have 3 out of the 6, and that the priority is being given to people with 4. But if, you know, if the money's not all spent with people with 4 requirements, then it would go down to 3 and we would be competitive. And the expectation is that the town would meet the requirements a year within 1 year of the assistance grant. And then this is kind of where I wanted to get into. It's my little bird with its green early bird gets the word. You know, then I just wanted to talk specifically to Wakefield's opportunity. You know, we were probably around 280th to become a green community, and that we're one of only 33 communities that have the specialized opt-in code, which is which is arguably the hardest criteria to meet. We already have the light departments already doing so many of these things, and encouraging us to do them in terms of reducing gas and electrifying everything. And we've already talked to the schools, and we've talked to them about this 0 over time approach, and We know that they don't have, we have a good sense of their time frame, and it seems doable. It's something we were already looking at under the energy plan from the green communities, and that we are, as ESC, we've already talked about putting a climate plan, and we voted to pursue the climate leaders. So this decarbonization roadmap grant, technical grant, would put us on track to get accepted into the climate leaders program. And then the money's part is really just the, if we had gotten into the green communities much earlier, we would have been more on par with towns and cities like Melrose and Acton and Arlington that, have received between 1.7 and 2.3 million in grants, but leveraged it for much more. Melrose was reporting that they've gotten 4 million in grants. So, to the extent that we know this is the way we want to be going, then Wakefield should really take the opportunity to be an early mover on this one. And then this just goes into our goal would be to become a climate leader, to apply by the end of this year. And the steps to get there would be to get this technical assistance grant, which tonight or Monday would require the town council to direct the town manager or the chair to send a letter of commitment that we would meet the climate leader community requirements within 1 year of the grant award. And then over the next 3 to 9 months, we would complete the remaining 3 of the 6 requirements, and then of course apply in December of 2024. And this, I won't even really go over this, but this is what else is required for the grant eligibility. I may kill that one. So anyway, yes, Sharon and everybody, I'd really like feedback because it gets a little confusing.
I think the voiceover that you do is helpful because it is a lot of words on a page.
I know.
I was concerned about that and didn't want people to get bogged down,
I know.
because it does seem overwhelming. Like it does seem like there's a lot to do. And I'll just say that for the goals and actions, maybe, I don't know if you have that clear what needs to be done tonight. I mean, what's the action, what's the ask?
Yeah.
Maybe making that.
Maybe that should go first.
First, yeah. Like, what's the ask?
That's a really good idea, actually.
And then
Well, I would
what's
similarly
the,
reorder that. Sorry, go ahead, Sharon. I'm sorry.
I just want to say that I was thinking about reordering some of the slides by putting like what's the climate leaders program? Why is it good for Wakefield? What are the requirements?
Maybe.
And what are the steps to get there and what is the ask? But you could put the ask first and then go through those steps. So maybe this goals and actions, just kind of at a high level, is that, tonight we're here because the ESC has made it a goal to become part of the climate leaders community, which comes with a lot of grants, and kind of in climate actions. It's a brand new program, so I can kind of voice over a lot of that. It's a brand new program, but this just quickly here would be the timeline. And the reason we're here tonight is because of this April 12th deadline. This is what we would need. And then I can say kind of, let's step back. And here is what the climate leaders, I haven't really said what it is. yeah.
Do I say anywhere what it is?
Yeah, say in that 4th slide.
Here. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Supports.
So I would maybe put that second.
The other thing I was thinking about was like this, like what the grant funding is for gets confusing with this April 12th grant.
Yeah.
So maybe what I do is put these 6 here and on this slide. Maybe we can even combine these 2 slides.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can.
So then you're going to increase the wordiness of each slide. It almost make more sense to segment is there a slide limit? Like, do you have to hit?
No, other than I'm super sensitive that
it's a tight meeting and I don't want people to be like, oh, this is
Yeah,
too complex. There, I mean, we don't really need all these bullets for what the grants are. I mean, I think the important thing is that, you know, there'll be grants for thing, and I could even, like, that could have probably collapsed into one
You
bullet.
just, yeah, summarize the bullets.
Yep,
I even go so far as to put them in your voiceover.
yeah. Okay. Actually, that's a really good point. Okay, so let me just highlight that. And then what I think I'll substitute that in for this.
Yeah.
So it's all on one slide, and this can be like at the end, honestly. And if we start with this, just the April 12th, I don't need that.
Right, but I would
I
do
don't need
the,
this down here.
but even on that first slide, I would move the tonight. I mean, you're literally asking them tonight
Yep.
for the, not tonight, but that
Yeah.
day to make this change. So I would make that its own independent action.
Yep.
And then,
Yeah, because that comes before the April 12th anyways.
True, that's true. Okay. I
Yeah.
like it. I like that a lot. See, it's just 2 grades are always better than more grades are better. Okay.
I was thinking that on slide, the what Wakefield's opportunity,
Yep.
that you know, I think the town really cares about grant money and savings, you know.
Yep.
So I mean, it's great that we would be, you know, that we're a leader on all these things, but you know, what does the town council really care about? Maybe we can just
Yeah.
reduce the bullets to those
Mhm.
things that they care about.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we can reduce this by 1 or 2 bullets and make this more prominent, maybe even lead with this.
Yeah, and maybe, you know, you have that grant information on the first page.
Yep.
Move some of that over
Yep.
here.
Yep. Yep. I think that's what
Yeah.
I'll do. Yep. And I don't even think I really need this.
No,
Yeah,
I would put
probably
that in
not.
an appendix or something, or
Yeah. Yeah.
Back up.
Yeah. Okay.
sorry, I'm talking with the mute.
No, Stefan, go ahead. Go ahead.
They, the, back to the opportunity slide though.
Yep.
I mean, besides talking about money and grant money, like what else does the committee or does the town, what do they actually want? Do we have a good indication of that to replace those? Or are you just gonna replace it with the stuff in blue?
I think I think I can put this, I think I'll move this up here.
Yeah,
And then you're gonna add the grant information from slide 2, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring the slide 2 stuff over here. And you know, this is only a version that only Melissa saw, but I thought for about half a second that maybe we should actually try to get this commitment through the town council, but I decided it was too much to do. But having thought through it, this would have to be a resolution, but there's a lot of things in there that I do think the town's trying to do, like plant trees. And so let's see if I can just pull.
So it would have to be a resolution that the town council votes on, right? So it would be the same as the ask that you want. They'd have to vote on that too, right?
Yeah, and I don't think we should do that. I think that gets it way too confusing. But here was the draft resolution that I was thinking of proposing. And I think there's a lot of things in here, kind of to your point, Stefan, that the town does care about. You know, whereas we have committed to green communities, promoting clean energy, like installing, there was a huge debate at the last meeting on installing municipal solar arrays. And we decided that we're gonna try to do that at the fall town meeting, get $1 million to put a solar on the Galvin. And so if we became part of the climate leaders, like that could help pay for this.
Yeah.
building the all-electric high school, you know, the energy park,
Maybe
the,
we should add some of those examples.
that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
And you had said add trees, which I thought was a really good idea. You know, and
Yeah.
whereas we are, so I'm not saying that I want to put this resolution in, because I think that that gets it too complex, and I think once things get feeling complex, people will want to set it aside and
Well,
think
I
about
mean-
it, and I get it, and we don't need it for this. All we really need for this is the letter saying that, you know, within a year.
Right.
And we're saying
once-
here is far less than a year we want.
well, yeah, once we get that letter, then we have to make that commitment.
Right, oh, this is the old version, right? Yeah,
So, I mean, we have some time to get that commitment resolution.
right.
But
I was just
we're-
thinking that
I
if
mean,
we wanted to
they're
be even more
committing, they're
competitive.
basically committing to it with that letter anyways. It's
Right,
just a matter of writing it up and voting on
right. And it
Is
may
that
be
at
something,
all,
yeah, go ahead.
is that at all problematic? I mean, are you gonna get pushback like, oh, we're gonna write a letter to commit to this, but the thing that we have to commit to requires town council in a resolution to be voted in?
I don't think so. I think this is pretty common for technical assistance grants to, you know, make a good faith effort within a year to do it. And my point will be, look, we're gonna try to do it in 3 to 9 months. If it takes a little longer, we're giving ourselves that wiggle room.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So I don't think we should push for the resolution. It's just gonna get too complex. I think we'll just have to take our chances with being a community that has 3 out of 6 instead of 4 out of 6.
it. Right.
And I think as a first mover, we'll probably, hopefully get in.
Yeah.
You know, with fewer criteria checked off.
Right.
Would we? So I noticed the action is to direct the town manager or
Or the chair.
chair to send a letter.
Yeah.
Do we have a draft letter that we can
Oh, that's why I
provide,
was
to
putting
make
this
that,
in.
facilitate that?
No, here's the proposed language that I was proposing. On Monday, April 8th, the town council voted in favor of applying for climate leaders.
So-
Council
then
did
the-
so the knowledge and understand that Wakefield is committed to meeting the certification requirements, 3 of which are already met within a year of the grant award.
Yeah.
So I will
Maybe
actually
putting
need
that
to-
on a slide so that
I
they
need to,
feel
yeah, I'm gonna, if
comfortable.
we're killing this slide, I need to put that in somewhere.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that they know what, you know, what we're asking and feel comfortable like signing off on it.
Yeah,
See the
exactly.
language.
Yeah, I mean, you can make that the last slide instead of this.
Yeah,
Just
that's
have
what
a
I think
slide,
I'll do.
just that on it.
Yeah. And and then the other thing is so we'll just have to share our last minutes. I have a copy of this, Melissa. I can't remember whether I told you.
Yeah, no, I saw that and got that.
Oh, that's right. I ended up copying you on that.
Yeah, so we have everything for the grant. We just need that letter of commitment.
Right.
And we're all set.
Right. There's no, I'm sure so help me like anticipate questions. I'm sure the question will be how much is the grant? And it doesn't say it anywhere how much it is because it's technical assistance. Essentially, they're going to assign us a consultant who will kind of will look at all of our data and will help work with us to come up with a plan, which is very similar to what happened under Green Communities. In that case, we had a consultant from MAPC. But it's really a great thing to have a consultant because the consultants understand the program, they know what the program's looking for, and they'll be able to really filter through our data much more quickly than we can do without any staff. This is going to be a really heavy lift without a consultant.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that. So I'm hopeful. I wanted to get these slides because I think the packet's probably getting distributed tomorrow. So I want to get these slides cleaned up and over to them.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I guess we want to make it clear that the decarbonization roadmap is just for municipal operations.
Yes, and I'm sorry, I'm dropping my phone. I tried to do that in a number of places. Where is it?
Maybe, Julie, maybe the
Yeah.
first slide is just, yeah, what is the climate leaders program? And
Yeah.
then,
So maybe I can take this language. And it's actually these kind of two bullets. maybe
yeah,
Into one. And it doesn't even need to be a bullet. To support. How about to reduce greenhouse gases through electrification through municipal. I'm going to underline that actually. And I think the 0 over time hopefully gives people some comfort that it's not like, oh, tomorrow, right? That's
Yeah,
the
I
other
mean-
thing. The earlier we do this, the more time we have to get to 2050. Like if we wait 5 years to do this,
Yeah.
there'll be a lot less funding and there's going to be a lot less time.
Well, do we want to add anything about the state climate goals to put us in line with those goals?
I will mention that.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's an argument that is
that's
convincing. at
compelling
this
for the
point.
town council.
Don't think that's a
Yeah,
compelling.
they didn't seem to care when I was mentioning that many times before.
Because I think there's some sentiment, right, about 40A being a state man. There's some pushback
State
against state
mandates,
mandates. So I don't think that that's as big of a compelling argument. It's a little like us being the leaders, right? I don't think they care as much about that as they do about grants.
Grants. Yeah. We also don't want to get penalized by the state. I mean,
Well, exactly. But I mean, I feel like the arguments for getting in early are, first of all, we're set up perfectly. There's only 33 towns that have the opt-in done. And you're right, I will say that, there are state mandates towards 2050, and the earlier we get in, not only do we get more grant opportunities for grant funding, but we have that much more time to meet the goals.
Mhm.
yeah, I think this is good. I think the changes make sense.
You could take, what is the CLC, climate leaders program, and then have the benefits, like what's in it for Wakefield, like the grants, talk about the grants, and then talk about the goals and actions. That might set it up.
So maybe the grants here. So like some of this put up front.
Like, yeah, like what it is, what the benefits are, and then
Yeah.
what the action is, and I mean, not on the same slide, but
No, I understand. Yeah.
okay.
But you're saying maybe here and then push this down to the next slide?
Yeah. Like then that would be like, what are the steps?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can also help. It's
All
hard
right.
for me to,
I know it's hard to do it. Let me do this after we're done with the meeting today. And if I have any questions, I will definitely reach out. I just really
Okay.
need to it needs to be in the packet tomorrow. So
okay.
in fact, I'm gonna tell Sherry it's coming.
Yeah, I
People
mean, I
know
don't
what
think we
to
need to
do.
stress about the order too much. I think we have all the content we need.
I actually don't even think they care. Like
Yeah.
I'm reading this book on like subtracting things, like the less words, the better. Announced a program. It's really, it's a Green Communities 2.0 program, right?
Yeah. Program called Climate Leaders.
Okay. Climate leaders. Is it climate leaders
Climate Leaders.
communities
Yeah.
to support municipalities with grants, right?
Yeah. With
Or
grants to
that.
reduce. Yeah.
That reduce, I don't even think we need to get into this, into municipal greenhouse gases. I do think that the zero over time, I don't want to forget to mention that. I think that's actually all you need.
Yeah.
I'm gonna highlight this. Yeah, and then I think this kind of comes over here. This is a lot of words. I bet I can get this down too. Like even if I just put the numbers up there.
Yeah.
All right, let me work on it. You guys don't need to sit and watch me. Maybe I'll work on it while we're talking and then I can show it at the end.
All right.
Okay.
So as far as so you're gonna give the presentation Monday and I'll be there in case questions or anything.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So yeah, the next thing was just talk about the grant application, which we kind of already did. But it's very straightforward application and I just need to make sure Anne is on board with filling it out for us and submitting. But she already, so the first thing is to provide that letter of commitment. So I don't know how fast we can get that letter, but needs to be quickly.
Oh, if we vote Monday, she'll have it by Tuesday.
Okay. Okay, so yeah,
Are
first
we
thing
able
is
to
letter of
like,
commitment.
are we able to like pre-draft that for them, or is there like a standard form letter that they'll basically send out?
We asked for a form letter and there wasn't one.
Okay.
Which is right.
Yeah, there's no template.
There was no
Yeah, there's no
template, so
template.
that's why I put that draft language in there that I think does it. We'll ask Tom Mullen to look at it, but
So you just need to put that on Wakefield letterhead, basically.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And have the signatures on there.
Yep.
All right. And then second thing we need to provide is just ESC meeting notes, which is straightforward. Third thing is that screenshot of the ESCO report, which Anne already provided. And then we just need to check all that apply towards certification. So green community in good standing, check. Have a local body that advises the municipality on clean energy climate initiatives, check. Commit to eliminate fossil fuel, we don't have. Adopt zero emission vehicle policy, we don't have. And then specialized opt-in code, check. So we have 3 checks here out of 5. Because the 6th thing was the decarbonization roadmap, so it's really just 3 out of 5. And then there's a certificate of application that we need Steve, I think, to sign. So it's Chief Executive Officer must complete the certification for applying for the grant. So maybe Anne can help get that, or
Yeah.
okay. And let's see. Yeah, so email required documents to green communities include decarbonization. You'll receive an email indicating receipt of the documents. Termination grant will not occur at the time. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so very straightforward. So hopefully we get that commitment and we'll be good.
So how, can I share my screen again? Just
Yeah.
lost the slide. Um. So how, what do you guys think about this as the first slide? And then actually, move my things, and then maybe say. And then I can lead into the next slide with what does this mean for Wakefield? Like if I say here, what would be the benefit to Wakefield? And
That
then
may be too much on one slide.
too much on one slide?
Yeah.
Okay, we can go straight to the next slide then. So we got
And
this.
then I would just change goals and actions to climate leader community program
Community.
or
Opportunity.
communities, or is it?
Yeah, maybe it's just communities. So, okay, I will fix all that. And then I lost my next page. I gotta go find it. Okay, all right. I'll go find it. I got it on another slide. Okay, sorry.
So we all went over the climate plans from the other towns. So thanks for reviewing all those. I guess the question is like, we don't know how much commitment we're gonna need to make as far as the decarbonization roadmap. But we'll probably have a little bit of time before that gets started. So maybe we wanna use that time to kind of put together the other piece of the climate plan, which is the residents and businesses. So maybe we can strip out that, try to put together some actions based on all the other climate plans for residents and businesses. And start putting that together while we're waiting for the decarbonization roadmap work to start. Does that sound
Right.
good?
I did have some, from what I was reading and some ancillary stuff I looked at, I did have this one question keeps coming through my head is like, why is the other lake never included in any of our discussions? Like we talk about the big lake, but Crystal Lake, right? We don't talk about it. Is there a reason for that? Like, is it so beyond salvaging that no one would ever bother, or is it just not really fully a Wakefield lake?
Nobody walks around it.
No, I think it's more that it's
Reservoir.
it's
a
a water
reservoir, right?
reservoir. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a water reservoir. So there's no boating allowed on it.
Okay.
There's not supposed to be a lot of activity around it, though we do have some activity up
Okay.
up on its, I don't know whether that's its east end, west end. And I think because all the water that comes out of there is filtered, there just hasn't been as many issues with it,
Okay.
with the algae and stuff.
Okay. There's kind of two sides to that question. First is just understanding. The second is the community leaders thing isn't just about carbon, right? It's about climate action and sustainability. And so as I was reading through all those documents, I saw almost no reference to lakes, only green stuff for the most part, like canopy and things like that. And so I just didn't know if there is an impetus to include more on the lake. Hold on, I'm getting back in by my child.
Well, I guess part of the thing that we wanted to add besides like climate action was the resilience piece.
Yes,
So
and that's where the
already
lake
have
does come
that-
in.
We have that in the MVP. So we can definitely, include, what we already have in about resilience from MVP into our climate plan. So we basically have that piece done. And I don't know how much the lakes are discussed in that, but I'm assuming there's a lot of water, things about water. So that would be a good
But
place
they're not like, it's not the same level of attention that's given. Like, we're going to measure, canopy cover and then increase that by X% as a metric, right? That's the type of stuff you see. But for lake stuff, it's like, is there like a cleanliness target or something like that?
I don't know if cleanliness kind of falls in this realm.
When you say resilience piece, the lake, what do you mean?
More
I
like
don't-
flooding, like flood control.
Oh,
Which I know.
Yeah,
the
and
DPWs are
we're right
definitely
at the
working.
we're right at the corner of is it the Mystic watershed? We're right at the corner of one of the big watersheds.
okay.
Yeah, I
I
think
see.
it's it. Mystic or the Malden River. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everything okay with your kids?
Yeah, just normal kid maintenance stuff. Sudden 4-year-old needs.
Municipal vulnerability, right? Resiliency. I'm just trying to tree planting.
Well, a lot of them, they're not necessarily, so tree planting is like multifaceted, right? But one of them is, the one is the carbon sequestration, although the numbers are pretty abysmal and take 30 years to accomplish, but like by increasing. But the other thing is the shade coverage, which reduces heating demand
Right.
and cooling demand, rather, not heating demand. And so or even things like reducing ambient temperature around town, right? So you've got sidewalks, they're heat sinks, you put trees over them, everything like the 30-degree changes in the shade kind of stuff. And so the trees are pretty obvious, they're a little more easy. The water itself, like, we could have a polluted lake, and other than airborne or insect-borne disease, there's no other impact because we don't drink from it. We just don't have now health and lifestyle, right? Those are a big part of it. So to have a healthy lake, and I think the point Melissa made earlier about like nobody walks, or you guys said nobody walks around the other lake, but the lake is a health thing. But the stuff I was reading had nothing to do with, like, it was more like responsiveness to disease vectors in the event that there's another outbreak. Like, so if there's a pandemic, do we have enough hospitals? We don't have that. So it's like, what's our emergency response plan? I
Well,
can't.
I mean, this Crystal Lake is a backup reservoir for the Quabbin Reservoir. So if if there is a drought, we could use that as our water supply if it
Okay.
got to that level. So we do theoretically need to keep that lake very clean in case we need to drink from it.
Okay. So the resiliency piece is specifically about in the event of like major climate degradation, that we have the ability to water, our people and our crops, or other needs that might arise from that fire.
Yeah, so the resiliency piece is basically it's the opposite of taking action, it's protection. It's,
Okay.
Protecting ourselves against climate catastrophe. So it's, making sure we have flood control, making sure we, have enough, we don't have too much of a heat island effect, so we have more trees to reduce temperatures and,
Okay.
yeah.
So we do want to include something in there, in the final action plan that around that, but the 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 main focus right now is on carbon, and carbon for business. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to understand, is just like right now we talk a lot about carbon and energy reduction, but we're not really talking about the more and of course, if I, green spaces stuff, right, that's going to be kind of where I want to focus my energy.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
So,
That's part of the actions that we can include,
I'm gonna actually
anything
include that.
Base.
Right.
so
Yeah.
that's what I noticed also, Stefan, is that some of the plans are just laser focused on reducing greenhouse gas emissions and energy use and reductions, but in type of energy, but others were more balanced in terms of taking into consideration the environment and the like the green spaces and
Right.
so just kind of taking a more balanced approach, which I appreciated.
So I think then, though, for timing, right, the grant, sorry, the initial application, as you were saying, doesn't only requires basically us to make a commitment, but I guess to come back all the way around to, you were talking about businesses, and was it residential outside of the municipal, Melissa?
Yes, the Climate Leaders Program is just for municipal operations. And so the
Okay.
decarbonization roadmap is just for municipal. That's why we're going to focus our efforts on the residential and business piece, which when we combine it with the decarbonization roadmap, we'll have a holistic climate plan for everything in Wakefield.
Okay. Anyway, sorry for that long trip. I just I wanted to understand the relationship a little better, because I know you guys have had a couple conversations that I didn't attend, and so I just didn't know if those things were nearer term or longer term in terms of when we want to start to include those in our the CAP work that we have to put together. So it's more like we get the application done, and then start working on the remainder of the climate action plan, which needs to be available by the time we get approved or hopefully accepted, which would be in the 9 months out, basically.
So the Climate Leaders is just related to the decarbonization roadmap. It's not really related to the climate action plan. The climate action plan would just be for Wakefield. It wouldn't be for like any program.
I thought it was
for us.
okay. Okay.
I think you're thinking of the roadmap.
Yeah, I guess I thought that was why we wanted to use the two to bring the two together. Okay, not a big deal.
Yeah, the roadmap, I mean, the grant is for the roadmap, which is just for municipal operations. So we're kind of taking care of that piece by the consultants are doing that piece of the climate plan, basically, for municipal operations. And then we would just take care of the commercial and residential piece of the climate plan. Combine that with decarbonization roadmap we have municipal, commercial, and residential all in one plan.
So do you think, we also noticed, that a lot of the other towns hired a specific consultant to help pull together the climate action plan. Do we think we can do it on our own? Like pull together? I mean, because they had a lot of stakeholder sessions,
Yeah,
you know, so, you know, we want to make sure that we get the buy-in of the town and the communities and the businesses, and, you know, everybody has a voice in the plan. So
yeah,
I know
that,
it's further down, but do we think that we'll need to hire somebody to help us with that? Or do you think we'll be able to handle those two pieces, the businesses and the residential piece outside of the municipal piece?
well, I mean, we did get a proposal from Kim Lundgren like
You did?
a while ago. But you know, it's quite a bit of money. So that's why we kind of moved to this climate leaders thing where we can
I
get
see.
some grant assistance for part of the plan. And
Okay.
then, you know, looking at all the other plans that are already out there, not to reinvent the wheel, basically, you know, take from what's out there to create the other piece of the plan. We can, you know, once we kind of put it all together, we could have our own, you know, workshops with residents. I mean, it doesn't really take a large effort. It's just like scheduling them, having people come and do what we did at our ESC workshop and puts, you know, Post-its and that type of thing. It's not that difficult. So I don't know. If you guys think it's like too much, then we can wait till we're a climate leader and then get grants and
No, it's not that I don't think that's the case. It was more like all the reading I did was climate action plans, and we talk about decarbonization plans. And I guess that's where my brain was a little confused. So like our only target for the climate leaders program is to get the decarbonization roadmap. The other thing is separate. Do we want to go after the design of the actual climate action plan? I'm starting to, maybe it's just been too many weeks, but like there was an impetus for us to be looking at a holistic climate action plan, I thought, or was versus just a decarbonization plan.
so yeah, the main point is to do a holistic climate plan. The first piece is the decarbonization roadmap, which is just municipal operations.
Okay.
And then our group, you know, will be working on the other piece of the climate plan, which is commercial and residential.
Okay.
And then we put that all together with decarbonization roadmap. We have a holistic plan, which we can then have workshops with the community to go over,
Yep.
you know, feedback of, you know, what we put together, or like we could have it before we put it all together, whatever we want to do.
Okay. Okay.
So it sounds like it's, you know, your concern was, Stefan, that the climate action plan may not be comprehensive if we're
No,
just
no,
focused
no,
on
I wouldn't.
decarbonization.
I wanted to retie together the work I did, which was reading climate action plans with what we were saying, which
Oh,
is
I
what
see.
do a decarbonization roadmap. And that's all I was trying to do, is like I was disconnected from what it is we're trying to accomplish, because I thought we were doing the whole CIP thing, not just the decarbonization thing. And the priority in order to align with climate leaders is the decarbonization roadmap. So I'm square again.
Okay.
I needed to get back there. I apologize. So thank you for bearing with me. But I have no concern. I'm not like, hey, why aren't we doing this? It's more, I just wanted to make sure I understood this, we sourced from one thing, but we only actually care about right now the first part of that, which is usually the decarbonization component, which is fine. I'm good.
Well, it's just another name for climate action plan, decarbonization roadmap. There's
Well-
net zero action plans. There's like a bunch of different names for the same thing.
Well, except that the just from, again, just the reading I did, which was not extensive or anything, was the action plans included a lot more on the other aspects, you know, the resiliency, I mean, transit, like things that weren't just about decarbonization, because transit's more about keeping people out of their cars, which is ultimately decarbonization, but it's not the same thing as like increasing canopy cover to reduce heating. I guess they're related, but that's not it's not, anyway.
Because decarbonization is a subset of,
So just, you can ignore me at this moment. I think we should move on. I really just wanted to get on the same page because, like I said, I felt like I was a little out of step there with the next.
Well, I think what we can do is for kind of each topic, for example, like transportation, we can have a bunch of decarbonization actions like electric vehicles and, you
Right.
know, public transportation, that type of thing. And then we can also have resilience pieces like planting more trees and, you know, walking and riding a bike, you know, like,
yeah. Well,
so we
there's,
can have a bunch of like different, we don't, you know, need to just do actions. We can do, you know, kind of, you know, resiliency, you know,
Right.
changes in lifestyle, whatever.
Right. So for what it's worth, 90% of the stuff I read was copy paste from one town to another.
Well, that's
And
what we want to do.
exactly. And so, like, I guess my point was like the effort is not in the deciding how much to write and how big. It's really what are the KPIs to measure the things that are relevant to us, because getting to those KPIs is the difficult part. Like, how many trees do we actually have? So we got to do a tree inventory. We got to get the, you know, canopy cover inventory, and then we got to actually decide how much trees to plant. Right? It's like that's the work.
That's
It's not
part of the implementation of the plan,
sure. Okay.
right? So like we say in the plan, like we want to plant, you know, have so much tree covered. And then the implementation piece of the plan is, okay, like where are we going to plant these trees? What trees are we going to get? Blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
but just, I mean, going back to the climate action plan, I mean, wouldn't it just be, couldn't we just say that there's a mitigation and a adaptation piece? So resiliency would be under
Yeah.
adaptation and decarbonization would be under mitigation.
Yeah. We could call it whatever we want. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think adaptation and resilience are kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we want to call it. And then there's, you know, the action piece of, you know, adding more electric vehicles or more renewable energy or whatever. But yeah, Stefan, like all these plans are basically the same. That's what, you know, that's why we don't need a consultant, because we have a million plans to work off of. We just pick and choose what we want to put in ours.
Yep.
Okay, well, I was just asking the question.
What was the question?
Okay.
Whether we felt we needed a consultant or not. It sounds like
Oh,
no.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I don't think we do. Like, considering there's like Kim Lundgren has done the same plan for like a million towns. We just look at all those towns and pick what we want out of them. And we already had the MVP plan, which she did several years ago. So we have the resilience piece already done.
Okay.
So I think maybe the next thing to do is to take those plans that we already reviewed and pick out the business related and the residential related, you know, actions or resiliency pieces, whatever is in there, and kind of, you know, put those all together.
How do we want to do that? Because that was the other, like, when I was picking my stuff out, I was kind of reviewing for like, hey, this it got to a point where it's like I can't like grab a paragraph because it's all relevant. It's like so like it ends up where, you know, do we just have to pick a format and then we all, for instance, I think it was the Princeton one was super easy to like, it was a slide format and the content was as limited and it was really focused on the KPIs, made it very easy to sort of read through and structure and get stuff in there. But like what, I don't think picking format's the most important thing. It's really what information do you want in there. So but I kind of get stumped when it comes to I think we've talked before about we can't deliberate online. And so do we have to like get in a room together? How do we want to like, I mean, we can dump, I don't know, I've never enjoyed that dumping segments of documents together and then having one person recollate everything because it gets really messy really fast. Plus you can't deliberate online. So I can't like, do we can't leave comments and stuff in the document? Is that
A good question.
I mean,
Think-
we have.
Yeah,
You
I think
know-
I actually think we can, but I think when it comes to kind of presenting it to everybody and voting on it, like we should all get together and in a publicly posted meeting and kind of do the final, like, oh yeah, there's this comment and this comment and this comment. What you can't do, Stefan, is like, you can't put a comment and then share and be like, that's a good idea. I like that comment. I want that. Right? Like everybody should just have their independent comments. And then we should all get in the room together and kind of walk through them all together in a posted meeting.
You know, one way we could do it is if we had an outline and then we each kind of took pieces of that, like different topics, and then an outline in
Do
a
you want me-
format,
I
and
can
then
put it
we
together
were
in an outline.
responsible for
Yeah.
that section.
yeah.
That
I
way,
think that's
there's
a
no
good idea.
duplication of efforts, and I'm not commenting on your stuff. And then we bring it all together into one long document, and then we can, you know, present and discuss our own sections.
Well, yeah, I was thinking like, you know, all the different topic areas like energy, transportation, green space, whatever. You know, I can kind of set up an outline of like what we want to put into each section, and then I can list all the different, you know, town climate plans that we reviewed, and people can just fill in the ones that they're assigned to, the information from those different sections. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So it's a bit organized.
because it seems like the climate plans have about maybe, you know, 8 to 10 different topics or, you know, sections.
Yeah,
Yeah, the master header, the main segment headers is usually about 5, not even 8. It's like there's unless you include like the introduction, because there's usually an introduction, climate science, which you literally can lift from almost any document. It's identical. The
Right.
one doesn't really change until you get to the specific areas. So it's going to be the transportation, energy, blah, and that section is the one that's actually interesting and unique for us versus the decarbonization part, which yes, we need our numbers from our program, our audit, but we don't otherwise need. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on that part. Where we want to spend our time is on those individual sections. And I'll make a plug again for the brevity of the Princeton format, which is just again mostly focused on tables with action items. like, or objectives essentially, but it had much less text. It was like, a table of actions, and it'd be like, like you said, reduce car, turn, hire out wagons instead of cars, and then like how many wagons, and then
They have wagons in there.
there was no wagons, but you get the point. So like but it was just tables. It was like, okay, here's a table for this section, and here's a little bit of text, and then, but it was very easy
Yeah.
to go through. And when you're looking for buy-in, you're looking for like, you want other town members to actually read it. The ability for them to get the gist of what you're trying to do is much higher than like the white document thing. That's like,
Oh, I'm not envisioning like a, 50-page
Kind
document of, dissertation of climate plan. Like,
Yeah.
I totally want to do like a very stripped down, simplified version like you're talking about, and
Yeah.
have it very straightforward.
It was also very colorful, which is, I mean, seriously. The Stowe one was
We
very,
could have Christina help us with graphics. She's all about that.
okay. So do we want to assign sections then, and
Yeah, I'll put together the outline and share it with everybody. And yeah, then you could just input your information from the 2 plans that you looked at.
if anybody did see more water oriented stuff in any of their town documents, can you point me to that? Because like I said, the 2 I had were pretty limited in that area. So if there's any town that had a lake, or that included something in the sustainability on the lake, I would like to strip something from one of those other towns then, because I just didn't.
Yeah, I don't know if we are looking at places that have lakes, but we'll
Yeah.
have to see. Yeah,
I only
it
meant
may be unique in that.
The plan to how, I don't know how we ensure deacidification of the lake from carbon absorption or something. I don't know. Or like you said, the water resources for resiliency. Those are the types of things that I
Mhm.
think I just wanted to properly represent the lake. I don't know why I'm like fixated on this thing. But it's like, it was important when we were talking earlier, and
Well, I think it's important because it's, a key item in Wakefield that is unique and sets us apart. So we
part of the
definitely want to highlight it.
part of the town.
And I think, I don't know how much of, I'm assuming MVP has quite a bit about it. And no.
Yeah, but this is definitely going to be a place where we're going to have to do some of our original thinking, because there's not going to be a lot to replicate.
Yep.
But I know that when we did the MVP, the Mystic River Watershed Association came, and they were really keen on working with us. So like, we may be able to pull some things from them.
Yeah.
I actually really think you're onto something, stuff in here. Like, we always talk about the lake and we talk about it, but it hasn't kind of been the centerpiece of things. And I think that could really help move this forward.
People love the lake.
People love the lake, and rightly so.
I mean, there's no fishing on the lake, right? I mean,
There is on the Quantapilot, there's fishing.
Okay.
There is?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's
Oh, yeah.
fishing derbies and stuff. Yeah.
So that's an important thing then for the town, is to make sure that stays feasible for the entire future of humanity.
Well, I hope nobody eats the fish.
I
from
don't
the
think
lake.
anybody's eating them. I think they're just measuring them and throwing them back. But wouldn't it
Yeah.
be awesome if it got to the point where
That's Lake Chautauqua. There's a fish on Lake Chautauqua. I think it's called a crappie, literally, and they have a crappie-a-thon, and all you do is catch them and release them.
On a completely different note, the rail trail, there's
Yeah.
a stream that goes by that, and it's got garbage in it and it's polluted.
Talk about that on Tuesday, probably then.
What's that?
Tuesday's Green Spaces inaugural meeting. We'll talk about that.
Okay, because I walk my dog down there and I see they're making progress on extending the trail, which is nice, but then I notice there's a lot of like tires and
Yeah.
I need a tire. I could probably go grab one. I mean, like, not for my car, just that was not the joke. I'm looking for a couple of tires for some things. Sorry.
Well, they're
Tires
recycling
going
them at the recycling day, which has been postponed, by the way, on Saturday, but
I don't understand why there's gonna be no weather.
Yeah.
something about the
So-
trucks having to get relocated, I don't know.
Okay,
So, okay, I will create the outline template for business and residential topics that each subcommittee member, the state, will fill in.
Melissa, when you do that, in addition to just the topics, the high level topics, will you, put like categories of information that will fill in for each topic?
Yeah.
Okay. So that we're
Like, yeah,
consistent.
kind of. I'll see kind of how it's laid out in some of the plans. The like who, what, where, when type of thing.
Yes, or like, I don't know if it's like actions, KPIs, I don't know what we want to capture.
Well, it would
For each
be
topic.
actions, it would be actions and, resilience or adaptation items. Even though I don't think that's part of a lot of those plans, but we could probably fill that in from the MVP. So yeah, I'll take a look at how
That
those
that
plans
thing you're referring, that is that MVP document on the share, the drive.
Yeah, yep.
So-
It's under Wakefield plans. There's a folder on the shared drive for all the plans that we have.
Okay. Oh, that one. Thank you. Oh,
Yep.
it's sideways. 5 pages is all. Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to put some detail under each topic, what to fill in.
Or just, yeah. A list of things that we should be including under our topics.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Julie?
I'm doing pretty well, I think. You guys tell me.
If you want, when I have energy, I can look at it like first thing in the morning,
All
if you
right.
want.
I think I've got it. You guys can I just show it to you for one more minute? And then you can definitely look at it again tomorrow. I'm just trying, I think I've got it down to 4 slides, which is even maybe 3 slides I've got it down to. Yeah.
Wow.
So here, let me share my, there's a couple of things I've still got to do. Okay, so let me share my screen. So here, I've got 2 going. This is version 3. Okay. So don't look at her. Don't get too. Okay. So it starts with climate leaders communities, what it is. The state has announced a Green Communities 2.0 program, building on the success of green communities, called the Climate Leaders Communities Program, to support municipalities with grants that reduce municipal greenhouse gases using a 0 over time approach, which I will explain what that is. And I said, just from a high level, here are the qualification criteria. There's going to be 6 things, very much like we've just been through the green community. So all the counselors, most of them remember it. So there's 6 criteria and we've got 3. And I'm saying, okay, see that 3, remember that 3. Okay. I want people to remember that we already have 3 done. And then I say, but what does this mean for being what does becoming a climate leader do for Wakefield? So let's talk about this. Okay. And listen, I'm just going to throw it out there, right? It's grants, and it's grants for things we've already determined are town priorities. Municipal solar, building electrification, lake health, like we just were talking about, right? Which we can put into really is important in the resiliency. Tree planting and shading, open spaces. I mean, these are all things that my colleagues talk about all the time, right? And then sustainability staffer, some seed funding for a sustainability staffer. And it's also, these are also grants, but it just says a different way, an opportunity to be one of the early climate leader communities. And which not only gives us more, rounds of funding to go after, but it's going to give us more time to meet the 2050 goals that are going to be required by the state. I do think it's worth throwing in there. And it gives us the ability to leverage other funding, which Melissa pointed out to me. And so that actually kind of leads me over here. And I just want to say, look, for comparison purposes, Wakefield became a green community 12 years after the start of the program. We're 285th into the program that currently has 291. We've received less than 0.15% of the 177 million that the program's awarded. And by comparison, communities that were in the first round have received up to 3 million. And Melrose is one of those communities. They were designated in the first round in 2010. They've received $1.7 million in direct funding, and they report that they've leveraged double that in grants, utility incentives, and technical assistance. I think we can interpret that.
Yeah,
You
That's
want to
great.
take the 177 million, either if you add another zero, but I would do 170 mm,
And M, yeah, I think that's better. You're right.
2 M's. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why.
Does it have a
Million.
space? I can never remember if it has a space or not.
Yeah. But 177 million monies
Right.
awarded to dates. Okay. Yeah.
We've only gotten 189,000 out of 1 point, and I'll say that.
Yeah.
But it leverages it. So I think I'm hoping that this is the like hammer it home slide.
Yeah, this is good.
Okay. And then I just go here and I say, okay, so to get all of this, here's what we're thinking in terms of goals and actions and timelines. So our goal is to become a leader. We'd like to apply by the end of this year, which would be the second round of funding, but and then tonight I'm asking for this body to direct the town manager or the chair to send a letter of commitment that Wakefield will meet climate leader community requirements within 1 year of a grant. I haven't really set that up well. That word commitment is gonna be tough. I feel like I need to explain the grant before I go into that.
yeah. You haven't even talked about.
Maybe this is just like something at the bottom, like a highlight at the bottom. Let's go ahead. What do you think?
I don't know. I think if you're asking them to do something and they're gonna wanna, I think we want to be very clear that we need them to do this. And by the way, like next week, right? So.
Oh, it'll be the week we're talking.
Well, I mean, maybe we can put, so something about we want to apply for the grant. So in order to do that, we need this.
Right. Tonight.
So you could put the action, the first action is apply for the grant,
Okay.
maybe?
Okay. So that's the second bullet, you're basically saying.
So you
Right?
can maybe move the second bullet to the top. Yeah,
How's that?
yes.
So, and I guess how I'm gonna say is, we have a unique opportunity here because they just came out weeks ago, right? When was it? It was the end of March.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
announced a very quick turnaround technical assistance planning grant. We've been waiting for it to be announced. We've been watching closely. I may even point in there that, the green communities came to Wakefield for their regional meeting. We have been very close to this. And the grant is specifically to help communities build their municipal decarbonization roadmap, recognizing that that needs to be a very solid document. And getting this 100% no cost share required consulting grant will, the Department of Energy Resources will assign a consultant to Wakefield that will help augment our staff and volunteer expertise. We do not have any in-house staff to work on this, to develop the roadmap and align it with the program requirements. And when that roadmap is done and the other two, all of the criteria are met, then we can apply for it. And the important thing with this planning grant, the priority is being given to communities that have 4 requirements met at the time of application. And remember, I told you to
So
remember.
I would mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would mention that the commitment is one of those requirements.
Commitment.
Or commitment.
Oh, yes. So I'll help, so wait, planning grant. No, the commitment's not one of the commitment,
Oh,
we will,
right,
no, yeah, the commitment's not
Commitment's
one of
part
the
of the
four,
grant.
the requirements.
right, okay.
Four, I guess I'm gonna say of 6 here, requirements met at the time of application, and I'm gonna say, remember, I told you to remember that 3, we are at 3.
Well,
So
it's
we can-
really 4 or 5. Because the decarbonization roadmap is one of the requirements. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, but the way the grant's written, it says 4 of 6, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I was talking to Dylan and he was like, yeah, it's,
I think
It's
it's too
really-
confusing to say there's 6 requirements, but only, I just think for their purposes, we should say,
okay, that's fine.
yeah. Otherwise I have to go and say, well, it's really 6, but it's 5.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. That's
so I
fine.
think, but I think you're right here. Here we have to say grant, so it'll be 100%, no match consultants to augment staff and volunteer. And then I guess I do have to say here requires, right? Commitment. Application, right? The application requires. Application requires commitment. This is a lot of words. At Wakefield will meet. And then do I do that?
I would
I kind of like how it was before.
You do, okay.
either that, or if you do want to move it elsewhere, I would like, these are actions we need to take for the program.
Yeah,
From what we're trying to get is a commitment tonight to get this, like, so if you wanted to, you could pull that all the way out to a, to the same header level as actions and give it its own thing, which is the ask sort of thing. Yeah,
and I
because
passed.
yeah, because what you're really doing is you want this to happen so that we can meet these other actions, but the thing you're actually asking for is the letter, right?
Right. To send a letter commitment that Wakefield will meet climate actually requirements within 1 year of grant award as.
Yeah, but you don't even know what the grant is, I guess.
That's my, yeah, that's my concern. Once they see send a letter committing Wakefield to something,
That's
That's
why
why we need to explain the grant first and then
put it at the
what we're
bottom.
asking for.
let's do, I used to work for a company that was always like, you have to have the takeaway at the bottom. Let's see, so maybe.
And I would always do BLUF, bottom line up front.
I know, let me just see if I can move this up a little bit. That.
Yeah.
And maybe I put a star here. Planning grants, grant priority.
1 year of, yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully they understand it's the grant that we're talking about there.
right, executive. Body. How did I say it in, so this is where I was when you guys started. So this is the proposed language, I guess. This is what I'd like to get on here somewhere if we can fit it.
You could create a separate slide for the language
Okay,
that you want.
Yeah. Just, yeah, exactly.
so maybe that's.
You make it bigger too. I mean,
Proposed language for grant applications for technical, I'm trying to call it grant, technical decarbonization roadmap, technical assistance grant application. And then
or you said something about commitment
Yeah,
letter for proposed language for commitment letter for technical assistance grant application or
Yeah,
What is it?
proposed language for commitment letter
Okay,
yeah.
for technical assistance grant application.
just hate calling it a commitment letter. It's going to,
Oh, really?
it just the few
Nobody likes
times
the
I can say
commitment.
that. I mean, it is, I mean, I'm not, you know, not denying it is, but
I mean,
They don't like to.
the purpose of showing what the language is to show that it's not scary.
right,
That this is something that they can actually commit to or, sign off on.
right. So maybe I just say down here and then requires that Wakefield will meet requirements within 1 year of grants. And then I'll say, maybe then the next page is what I guess I know I'm burying it, Stefan. I'm super burying it.
I mean, you do say letter of commitment under tonight's ask.
Right, I'm wondering whether I move that. Tonight's ask. So maybe I just move that up here and then. I guess I don't need to have them direct it. I can make the motion and say it. I think the ask is pursue technical assistance grant, which requires I think that's what it is. Does that look okay? And we're asking for permission
Yeah,
to,
I don't even know what the grant is. Like, we haven't even talked about the grant at all.
So you want a slide before this goals and actions slide about what the grant is?
Well, you do
I
we,
feel like we need something more than that one bullet.
Yeah, so maybe we need to put back the slide about what
Yeah.
the grant is before this.
I have this.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is what
Yeah.
it is. And I wouldn't be bad to have that in there. So maybe this is. I'm just gonna put this down here for right now. Okay, so. April. So why don't we call it a technical assistance grant?
yes,
Okay, so we come out of here, we've said what it is, we're coming out of here saying this is really okay, so here's kind of our opportunity and our time sensitivity, right? Is that the Department of Energy Resources just announced a technical assistance grant. It has an April 12th deadline. It would allow us to build the decarbonization roadmap. 100% funding for consulting services, right?
Yeah,
And then is this where we say the letter, we move some of this language?
I wouldn't put the date as the first concern. Like, this
Okay.
is an information slide, right? So you
Yep.
want the assistance program grant. That's an information slide. The deadline is irrelevant. And
like
so
what is the technical assistance grant?
exactly, that's what I want to make.
It's
the slide about.
100% funding for consulting services for,
didn't you have a slide about it somewhere?
I think this is all I have. I have
Oh.
this and I have this.
But then there was some other stuff about the grant.
But you
Hold
could
on, let me
take
go.
this, you could take this content now, most of which is explaining a little bit more about the grant to that other
Uh-huh.
slide. And now you can shrink this slide up again.
Yes, so that bullet.
This one or the first one?
Just the first one. Don't take the whole thing
Yeah.
out. Just take the content about what the grant is for. So you want them to, I would take everything from your semicolon.
Yeah,
100% no match.
Yes, from 100% no match all the way down to requires Wakefield will meet the requirements with 1 year program, and put that on the other Well, wait. I don't know about the 100% part. So let's go back. Sorry.
What's that?
100% plan. The 100% to the end of the word application. So the first bullet, not the second one. Because this one's really explaining. So from 100% no match to the end of the word application and the number 3.
In the number here. Okay, I gotta bring the 3 over separately.
That's my proposal. I hate doing slides.
I know. Doing this in real time is exhausting. I'm sorry, you guys.
Oh no, I'd rather do this than me doing it.
Roadmap planning assistance grant. This doesn't have to be front and center. That can be a resource down below. Okay. State has just announced a decarbonization. So remember, that's one of the 3, the criteria is roadmap planning assistance grant. So maybe what we say is 100% no match. Not
Funding.
funds though, it's a consultant, right?
It's
Will
just,
pay
assistance.
100% of consultant
Consultant fees.
fees, right? And they'll assign us a consultant to augment staff and volunteer time. Basically to develop the roadmap, right?
yeah,
And
for
then,
municipal operations.
yeah, good point, for municipal operations only. Okay, maybe we say here what it requires, right? Simple application. I think that's important. We're not taking a ton of time to do the application, right? That requires, and this is, we could just quickly, I got rid of it. Did I get rid of it here? This is what it requires. We don't need, I know we don't need all this, but I'm just moving it for a second. Actually. Simple application that requires really 3 things. I just like to, requires the commitment, right?
Mhm.
Wakefield will meet the 6 criteria within a year of grant award. It requires minutes from committee.
We can add those checks back in here.
Yeah, I can add those checks back in here.
Well, I wouldn't, because you're talking about the 3 bullets, or
No, it's not the 3. These 4 things are different. These
okay.
are this is all you have to
For
do
the
to get the grant. And maybe, I mean,
Can you just to put those 4 bullets?
yeah, I think that's, and I don't think that we need everything with them.
We don't need anything, the sub bullets, just.
So here, simple application that requires, hold on.
Oh, boy.
No, it's okay. I got it. This, right? The proposed language. And then I'm getting rid of that.
I would put the proposed language on a separate slide, because they're
Okay.
gonna, that's what
But
they're
we already
gonna.
have that on the other slide,
Okay,
don't we?
yeah, so I
You're right,
delete
you're right,
that.
you're right, you're right. So 1, 2, 2. We don't even need this whole screenshot thing. 3, we don't need all of this.
No. You might want to simplify.
And
Now
then
you-
4, I think, will just be the indication of progress towards certification, or towards the 6 requirements.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. I know I need to like, hold on, I'm just gonna move that into here. Okay.
You could probably cut down some of the words.
Provide a letter, I mean, all within 1 year, documentation that means a energy party. I don't even think we need this, an energy committee.
Yeah, I would just say.
Documentation is the minutes, that's fine, that's gonna be our documentation, right? Proof,
Yeah, you could put ESC in parentheses or something like that if you want.
Sounds-
And for the first one, you could say, you can get rid of provide a, because you have simple application that requires and just
Yep.
put letter of commitment from from CEO
yep,
of the town,
yep. Or
get rid
town,
of the city.
that it will meet. Okay, so that's one. Documentation that the municipality has, that's two. Screenshot. We've got this screenshot, and actually that's gonna be in the report of ESCO report. That's fine. Honestly, the more we confuse them with things, and indication of progress toward the 6 requirements. That's really what it is. I think that's it. So I think that shows you that it's a simple, so this will pay 100% of a consultant fees to. I mean, right, augmenting was
I
more.
don't think we even need, we don't even need that information on the third thing. We don't need that information on most facilities. It's literally just a screenshot of the ESCO
Okay.
report.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yeah, I would just say the 6 climate leader requirements.
Okay. Pays 100% of consultant fees. 100% for consultant. To assist town in building a decarbonization roadmap. And then the benefit of this, right, is that it would augment staff and volunteer time.
Yep.
And also it would, you know, I don't know what the wording is, but like increase our capacity, you know?
Yeah,
It's not just providing time, but also expertise and I don't know, like increasing our knowledge, you know, I don't know,
Yeah.
learnings, capacity. I'm not
increase.
sure what the right word is.
How about our ability and capacity to develop plan? Maybe, I mean, I feel like it's similar, augmenting.
Oh yeah, augment staff. Okay,
Augmenting
augment staff and volunteer expertise.
time. Oh, we just don't have the staff. That's gonna be my point here. It's gonna be hard to get done with volunteer time.
Yeah.
You know, most towns that do this have a staff,
Yeah.
and we don't. And that's gonna be one of the big arguments.
And that's why we want the grant.
Right, exactly. So it's a simple application. This is kind of building a roadmap for municipal operations. We wanted to get that in there, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't say anything about, the only other thing I had up here was like aligning with, so that, I think if they know if they're paying for the consultant, it's aligned. I don't think we need that. Okay, so I think, do we want to put the April 12th deadline here or no? Maybe not yet.
No, I think that goes.
No, 'cause you've got-
Yeah, the next slide has.
On the other, yes, other slide, right? The dates.
Yeah, I'm just putting this down here as a reference. Hold on.
And maybe you just say, instead of 3, maybe you just say, you know, Wakefield has already met 3 out of the 6 criteria. Maybe
Yeah.
just spell that out in a little text box instead of having the 3.
Yep, we can do that. So down here, right? Let's see. Okay, so here we are. So we're back. So we're back here. So this is why we're here. It's just announced. That can probably be bigger, huh?
Yeah. You still might be able to trim a little more of that text, but
Probably. And I could put a little spacing in between it.
yeah.
Make it the same color. I don't know why I can't seem to match colors, but okay. So then we go down to here. And so here's the goals and actions, right? To become a climate leader, to apply. Yeah, and then I think we're back to where we started here, right? The asks
Yep, I think we're good.
to tonight's ask.
I would still put that up front.
No,
so
I
that-
would keep it up
Where it
where,
was? Okay.
yeah.
size-
Okay.
And maybe just say, yeah, the ask.
Yep. And then this is the language if they do decide to do it.
Yeah,
I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for people to be like, yeah, it seems
Yes.
good. I don't want to have to negotiate language on the floor on Monday night.
No, but
yes,
just,
that makes sense.
All right. I think we're good.
I think we got it, you guys.
Oh,
I'll make
wait.
sure colors match and everything.
There's one more thing.
Yeah.
For consistency's sake, if you take on the blue box, this is
Yeah.
actually take the word Wakefield and make it a label like you did the word Melrose.
Ah,
And
okay.
then, and then the first bullet, it starts with the word became. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
There,
Competition.
now they're
Yeah.
now, and then bold Wakefield.
Hold on, this is different font, which drives me crazy. Such a topic.
Wingdings, definitely wingdings.
I know. Oh, I know. 14. Is that too small? Wait,
Yes.
bold, too small. Okay. 16. How about
Okay.
that?
That's good.
Where does this go though? Maybe this becomes a subheader under that.
Yeah.
Not so small, but yeah.
Form, it's never going to be perfect.
I know. Okay. So Wakefield became, yeah, I like that. That's
Yeah.
really good catch. Okay.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for putting this
Thank you.
together.
That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you for putting it together.
Nathaniel, sorry, we've been probably talking over. Do you have any thoughts? Just remembered you're there.
I think it looks good to present to the town council.
All right.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. If you have any other thoughts, let us know. If you have any anecdotes from the youth perspective, I can certainly use that as well.
Sounds good.
All right. Great. All right.
All right, do we want to schedule our next meeting quickly? So do we want to do the first week in May? Or I guess that would be yeah, half of April, beginning of May, last week. Or what do we want to do?
I'm completely out of pocket the last week of April, and the first week of May is not great for me either, but technically I think I'm off the committee on the 23rd.
No, you're not.
I'm staying involved. So I might
You're
be a
gonna take
public
the last
participant.
seat. Julie, you're gonna
I
take the
am
last
gonna, yes, I reached out to Sherry. If nobody else applies for it, I will apply for it.
Yay.
So the full committee meetings on the 9th of May.
Yeah,
Okay. So
so we want to do that next week.
what do you
So we
prefer?
can-
Will we have any other action to collate the week before that, so that would be the second.
So, yeah, the biggest thing next week is to get the grant application in. And then after that is just putting together the climate plan information based on the template that I'm gonna put together.
My
Uh,
intent is to aim for the Green Spaces Committee to start meeting on Tuesday, before we'll see if that sticks, but really depends on Robin and Lily.
Second Tuesday,
Whatever the Tuesday is before the full committee meeting.
so second Tuesday of the month.
Well, except for in that case, it's the first Tuesday because May starts on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
That would dump it to the 14th. So I don't know. It depends if we think we can accomplish what we can accomplish before the next one, and I have some other. Anyway, my only point was I like the leading into the full committee meeting as a time to meet. So I like the second, but I just didn't want to shoehorn it into the 8th if the other.
Well, Julie, you said you're out of pocket when?
I'm out of pocket on the 24th, no, the 25th. And the second I just had, well, the second I might be okay, actually. I have an event that's probably done by 7, if we started at 7:30.
We could also move it to.
Oh, wait, no, May 2nd is town meeting. 48 night.
Oh, unless
Is
that-
it
Mm-hmm.
May 2nd? I thought it was.
It's April 29th, but it will very likely go to a second night, if not
Oh.
third night.
Okay.
Got it.
Well, why
So,
don't we?
Okay, yeah, so that April 29th week is town meeting extravaganza, so we don't wanna
Yeah.
meet that.
So the goal would be the next meeting we have is to start to collate that.
Go over that outline.
Yeah.
That will be
Just to go
completed.
over the outline or to actually have stuff in it at that point.
Well, yeah, the goal will be to have everybody fill it in.
Fill it in by
before
then.
the
So
meeting.
that would
Yeah.
mean we wanna, well, then I don't know if it matters if we have that done before the next full committee meeting then. I'm just trying to think of the best timeline.
Yeah, so maybe does like May 14th work?
Yeah. Yep.
oh yeah,
Give
that works
us
for
a-
me.
That
Give
works
us a little
better for me.
time.
Yeah.
Works for you? Okay.
17th is off limits. And the 28th is off limits for me, so.
Okay, May 14th. 7:30. All right.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Great meeting, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Now you-
Have a good night.